Okay, so we did the Mishnah on Yud Aleph on the base. We had machlokus between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Meir regarding until how long, which hour of the day you can eat chametz to. According to Rabbi Meir, to the fifth hour, and you burn it in the sixth. According to Rabbi Yehuda, fourth hour, fifth is toila, you don't sell it, you don't burn it. Sixth, you burn it. According to Rabbi Gamliel, truma up into the fifth and chula into the fourth.
Where are you starting from?
I'm starting from the Gemara on Yud Aleph on the base.
Thank you.
The Gemara now is going to bring in a Mishnah in Sanhedrin that regards Dinei Nefashos, about Eidim who are testifying on a capital punishment. And somewhere along the line, through a lot of Gemara, we're going to bring in our Mishnah, how it fits into that Mishnah in Sanhedrin. So that's the theme of the evening. Tnan Hasam. Right over there. Again, these are speaking about two Eidim who are testifying on a case of capital punishment, on a homicide, on a murder. Tnan Hasam. One says what on the second day of the Chaydesh, and one says on the third. So one says on the Beis Nisan, one says Gimel Nisan, the murder took place. Eidus and Kayemes. This does not necessarily means that they are so to each other. They're not contradicting. Right? One knew of the Ibur Shal Chaydesh, and the other one did not know. So one thought Rosh Chodesh was on the 30th, the other one thought on the 31st. It was on the 31st, they're saying day 2, day 3, and day 2, and then if you thought it was on the 30th, then they're saying day 3, but they're really meaning the same day.
And that's what day of the week it was?
We didn't get to that yet. You're jumping the gun. That was just okay. They Echadama Bishleisha. No, they did say the same day. They're both agreeing on a Tuesday, but they say which one said 2, one said 3. But no, it's clearly speaking. They both said Tuesday. That was your question. That was clearly both speaking that it was on Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it is. Give you a little ammunition, you get carried away about it, huh?
Actually, dump it in.
Take a little bit. Why not? Why not? Yeah, the little one. You have little hand grenades. You can take some. Okay. One says on the third, and one says on one says on the third day of the month, one says on the fifth day of the month, Edusa Betela. Because that there's no way to go ahead and fataish that they mean the same thing. 2 hours in the day. This is important. The 3 hours in the day. Some way the difference between 2 and 3, we can go ahead and reconcile it, as we'll see. Meir says there's no way to reconcile if one testifies in the 3rd hour of the day, one testifies in the 5th hour of the day. However, Rabbi Yehuda says, in fact, the edus would be kayemes. The edus would be fine. That edus would be okay. One says it took place in the 5th hour of the day. The other one said it took in the 7th hour of the day. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says 3 to 5 you can reconcile, 5 to 7 you can't. Why? Because the Chamesh Chama Mizrach, in the 5th hour, 11 hours in the day, the sun is in the east. With Shiva, and at 1 o'clock, guys, Chama B'Mayriv, it's in the what? It's in the west. So that you can't reconcile the difference. So in other words, sometimes the 2 hour difference can be reconcilable, and sometimes it can't. 3 to 5, as long as it's not 5 to 7, would be okay. According to Rabbi Yehuda. According to Rabbi Yehuda, would agree by 5 to 7 that the Edus B'Tela, they are machdish each other, they're contradicting each other. Amar Abaya, Kishatim Solaima, the different again. Now the key for understanding the sugya, guys, is that the 3 to 5 slot, where Reb Meir says it doesn't work, and Reb Yehuda says it does work. Okay, one says the 3 hours, one says 5. Reb Meir says it works, and Reb Yehuda says it works. The edus is not makish each other, and Rabbi Yehuda says it's not makish each other. So let's see how that works out. Amar Abaya, Kishatim Solaima l'divrei Rabbi Meir. Ein adam toya v'lei klum. The first lashon of Abaya, they don't make a mistake at all. So in other words, and we're going to see, the Gemara is going to make a statement, and the Gemara then is going to do the math for us. Okay, so we're dealing right in the hours. The 2 to 3 hours is not a problem. Right? That's what we're going to see. The Divrei Rabbi Yehuda Adam Toya Chatzi Shah. A person will make a mistake in a half hour. The Divrei now we're doing the math. The Divrei Meya ain't Adam Toya v'lei klum. Ma'isa ki have v'mafke tarte umal plus. When the second hour was leaving and the third hour was going in. V'hadik amar shtayim b'sof shtayim. V'hadik amar shalosh b'tchila shalosh. So why did Rabbi agree if one of the Adam said hour 2 and the other one said hour 3? Because if the end of hour 2 and the beginning of hour 3, it's basically what? The same time. So Kishatim Saloma, that would be cool. That would work. Good? Next. Rabbi Yehuda Adam Toya Chatzi Shah. How do you go say Rabbi Yehuda says they can make a mistake of 5 hours? How's that possible? Ki have a Maisa Havi keep it Palga da Arba Havi. Let's see, was it 4:30? Right. V'haidik Ama Shalosh, Saif Shalosh, guys. Good. So the end of the third hour is 4 o'clock. You could tell you Palga the Shaita. Now you made a mistake a half hour ahead. Likamei. So you go from 4 to 4:30. V'haidik Ama Chamesh, and the one that said Chamesh, B'tchilas Chamesh, right? That's the beginning of it. So it's 5 o'clock. You could tell you Palga the Shaita Lachure, and he made a mistake a half hour as Mazak Friyadik, right? Backwards. He made 3 hours backwards. So that would be a code that was 4:30. So again, 2 to 3, Reb Meir agrees, guys. Why, Abaya? Same time. End of the second hour, beginning of the third hour. Rabbi Yehuda said, I feel 3 to 5 would work. Why? Really, the Maisa happened, he's saying 4:30. And a person will blow it by a half. The Maisa took place at 4:30. A person will blow it by a half hour. So the guy who said 3 meant at the end of the third hour or at 4 o'clock, half hour ahead, 4:30. The guy who said 5, the beginning of 5, back, half hour, 4:30, we can go ahead and make it everything Sazamin. It should be all together. It's very nice. We have like 2 million on Zoom, You're gonna go on Zoom, you'll get a million. No, you'll get. It's interesting. Okay, anyway, weiter. Let's go weiter. So says the Gemara. Very good. So guys, in the first lashon of Abaya, they don't make any difference. 2 to 3, no mistake, correct? A second lashon of Abaya, we're gonna have 3 lashonos. Ikadiyami, Amar Abaya, Kishatim Saloima, Divrei Rabbi Meir, Adam Toya Mashahu. A person again. The second lashon, first lashon they make a mistake at all. Second lashon they make a mistake a little bit. Adam Toya Mashahu. The Divrei Rabbi Yehuda, Adam Toya Sha'u Mashahu. The Divrei Meir, Adam Toya Mashahu. So now the second lashon, Abaya Mashahu and Rabbi not a half hour according to Rabbi Yehuda, but in fact what, an hour and a Mashahu. Let's go see how it's done. The Divrei Meir, Adam Toya Mashahu. Ma'aseki have. When was the murder? Oy b'sof shtayim, either at the end of the second hour have, oy b'tchila shalosh. Right? V'chad minayu toya mashu. One makes a mistake. A little bit difference between 2 and 3. It's really the same lashon as the first one. First one it's exact. The second one it's a mashu. The difference is in Rabbi Yehuda, who said the first lashon was a half hour. The second lashon is an hour and a mashu. The Rabbi Yehuda Adam toya shah umashu. Ma'aseki have. When did the murder take place, guys? Oy b'sof shalosh, oy b'tchilas chamesh, v'chad minayu katoy shah umashu. And one guy is blowing it by what? By an hour. He's blowing it by an hour and a mashu. So the mice took place at the end of 3, or at the beginning of 5, and in the middle somewhere he's going to off you off by an hour this way and an hour this way. So also Rav Huna, Bered Rav Yehuda, Amlish Shmaitzel Kamei the Rav. He said the sugya over in front of Rav, and this terrace of Abaya. Now, Abaya didn't say this is what happened. Abaya said we could tighten it up this way. Good. Now, what happens if the Avis is buckle, fellas? So the murderer is off the hook, right? Case closed. What happens if we'll say the Avis is still on? We're going to kill the guy. Yeah? What do we know about capital punishment in Jewish cases? It's silas ha'eda. We do everything in our power to save, right? So because you could fatach the cheshbon like this, we're going to kill the guy. Don't fatach it. Save it. One guy said 3, one guy said 5. The X is out. Save the guy, right? The lawyer's smiling. Let's do it, right? I mean, what's going on over here? Says the Gemara. This whole thing goes against Judaism. That's what he said. Rabbi says, Amar, Umayu the kina bahani sadeh the high the kama shalish b'tchila shalish. I the kama chamesh b'slev chamesh. Let's say we've been medayik and said when this guy went 3, you know what he really meant? He meant the end of 3. And when this guy said 5, he meant the beginning of 3, and he meant the end of 5. So not, in other words, there's no one that can reconcile the beginning of 3 to the end of 5. That discrepancy from 3 to 5, we're not going to be able to go ahead and figure it out. Right? They would be edus that guys that makish, they weaken each other, meaning they both nullify each other. For loy katlin and we won't kill him. But what are we going to do? No, nakim v'naktim misfeka. We're going to go in for taich. He meant the end of 3. He meant the beginning of 5. This discrepancy is a half hour. Let's kill him. That's the Gemara. You should judge them in the Tzilu Eda, and you save the remainder of the congregation. Good kasha. Say Elam Rava. Rava's going to have a different tense. Elam Rava says Rava. L'divrei Rebbe Meir, according to the words of Rebbe Meir, Adam Toye Shtei Shois Chasa Mashu. Rebbe Meir, listen, Rebbe Meir, not a little bit like Abaya, not exactly like Abaya. According to Rebbe Meir, a person will make a mistake 2 hours in a bit. L'divrei Rebbe Yehuda, Adam Toye Sholosh Shois Chasa Mashu. 3 hours less a bit. Rebbe Meir, 2 hours less a bit, and Rebbe Yehuda, 3 hours less a bit. Now, the Gemara does the myth, guys. One more time. Let's go through the shines, guys. Abai in the first lashon, exact time. Abai in the second lashon, mashu. Abai in the first lashon, Rabbi Yehuda, half hour. Abai in the second lashon, an hour and a little bit. Now we're saying Rava, Reb Meir, a little bit less than 2 hours, and Rabbi Yehuda a little less than 3 hours. Okay, and now we're going to do the myth and see how it works out. Says the Gemara. El Amarav. The div Reb Meir Adam Toya Shtei Shois v'Chasa Mashu. The div Reb Yehuda Adam Toya Shalosh Shois Chasa Mashu. The div Reb Meir Adam Toya Shtei Shois Chasa Mashu. Ma'aseki Have. What exactly did the murder transpire? Oy betchila shtayim, either at the beginning of 2, oy b'seif shalosh, or at the end of 3. Guys, the beginning of 2 or the end of 3. It either took place either or. The beginning of 2, or Seif Shalish, the end of 3. That's the first lashon. And one of them made a mistake 2 hours and a bit. So if you go ahead, the beginning of the second, the end of the third, that's 2, less a little bit. So that's the first lashon where Reb Meir agreed, guys. Remember, the whole machlokus was 3 to 5. 2 to 3, they agreed. And you know what? 2 to 3, I'll take in any discrepancy. Guys, watch. 2 to 3, Reb Meir said works. Let's say it took place at the beginning of 2. You have the full hour of 2. The end of 3, you have almost the full end of 3. Qasam Mashahu. Reb Meir says you got your edus right then and there. Anything less certainly will be, if you can make a mistake in that expanse of time, certainly you make a mistake in a closer expanse of time. So this is a Vadai edus. This is Vadai edus. Good. That's Reb Meir. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Says Rabbi Yehuda, Adam Toya Shalosh Shois Chasam Mashmu. Ma'aseki Havi Oy Betchila Shalosh Oy B'Seif Chamesh. Again, Rabbi Yehuda said 3 to 5. You're going to work. So if you have the beginning of 3, that's 3 hours. 4, end of 5, Chasam Mashahu. There you go. There you go. So the Kiyavi Oy Betchila Shalosh. The Chamina K'Toy Shalosh Shois Chasam Mashahu. Okay, so now. When the our Mishnah said the following, the Mishnah, excuse me, not our Mishnah, the Mishnah Sanhedrin said 2 to 3, everyone agrees that if one of the Eidah said he was killed in the second hour of the day, one says he was killed in the third hour of the day, it can mean even the biggest expanse, even the beginning of the second hour to the end of the third hour, which would be 2 hours, less a bit, covered. Rabbi Yehuda, who said, I feel one guy says 3 hours a day, one says 50 hours a day, he'll encompass even what? 3 hours less a little bit. Do the math, right? Beginning of 3, 4, 5 is 3, less a mashahu, right? There you go. We're good. Okay. Now, there's a
same question about the
huh? No, Adarabba, this is the first case why we didn't know what it was. Like You're going to tighten up the littlest amount to kill the guy. Maybe you meant a longer expanse. You're starting from the maximum and working your way in, Baruch. In other words, it's not Tzila Eda over here. It's not the Tzila Eda. Since a person will make a mistake over here, every possibility is encompassed. According to the first shot, you were taking the smallest amount. So you're saying to kill the guy will say he meant the end of the third and the beginning of the fifth. Maybe it meant at the beginning of the third, fifth, and then we could save the guy. But now, if you're telling me it means the two extremes, then of course everything's included in that. Totally different. Totally different. Okay, says the Gemara Vayta. Now, fellas, there's in Dinei Mominus, they did away with it because they didn't want to like till delis if they love him. But in a capital punishment, there was something called drishis v'chakiros. The Mishnah in Sanhedrin. A chakira would be anything that's time related. What day of the month was it? What time of the day was it? What year in the Shemitah cycle was it? If in any one of those dinim they mess up, they're gone. Drishos would be just to pile it on. What kind of clothing was he wearing? Or what was the the game of Clue with the candlestick with Mr. Green in the library? What you kill him with? So those are just stammers just to try to catch them. But in the chakiros, that's the most important part. Anything in the chakiros doesn't work, and we'll see why in a second. And we'll see how this is going to go ahead and come into
You would think that it would be more telling than a chakir.
Oh, no, because you need Eidus Shatiyachal Azima. Okay, there's your side of Eidus like this. Guys, there's a big side of Eidus. I'll say it now. The Torah gives an incredible power to Eidim. If two Eidim come along and say a guy killed and no one weakens them, we're going to kill these guys. If two Eidim come along and say it's nighttime, right, and it's daytime, it's nighttime. The Torah gives Eidus al pi shnayim Eidim yakum dava. It's a tremendous power, but it comes with a little provider caveat. If you're going to testify in a capital punishment case, you got to know that there's a little halach out there called Eidim Zleganim. That if two people come along and say, how could you have testified on that day when you were with us in this place, in this time? To be able to say you were us in this place, in this time, it's got to be time related. That's why the chakiras are much more important than the drishas, because that's where you can get them. If the drishas are wrong, the Eidus could be okay. If the chakiras are wrong, that means they have the protective. When you say Eidus without getting caught, like what's it called? Diplomacy. What is the different have? Immunity, right? There's no such thing as immunity in Eidus. You have to have there's a fear out there. If you're lying, Ken Zain, your blank is on the line, right? Why? Because we say what? So that built into the system is you need Eidish Hatiyachal Azima, because that gives credibility to the whole name of the Vedas. It's a very nice hakdama to the sugya. So let's see how it works out. It says Matanan, which Shemitah cycle, guys? The 7 Shemitah cycles in the Yovel. Which are the Shemitah cycles in the Yovel? Be'ezah Shana, what year of the Yovel cycle? Be'ezah Chodesh, what month? Be'kama b'Chodesh, what day of the month? Be'ezah Yoyim, what day of the week? Be'ezah Yoyim, what day of the month? Be'ezah Shah, what time? Be'ezah Malkum, what place? And if you mess up any of these, gone. Ma ben Chakiris leBedikos. What is the difference between Chakiris and Bedikos? Chakiris, Amar Echad Mehem Eini Yadeya. If one guy says, I don't know, they do some betela. Because if he says that he doesn't know, you can't chap him. If he says you don't know, you can't chap him, right? You can't say Amar Yisem because he never said where he was. Bedikos, I feel a shnei main on the yodim. The bedikos, if they say ain't on the oimim, by the bedikos, if they say we don't know, then they do some kayemis. Fabino, we asked, Maishna chakiros u'maishna bedikos. What's the difference in chakiros that what if they say they don't know, it's over, and mashna bedikos if they say they don't know, it's still viable. Farminan chakiros amarecha mehem eni yadei do some betela. Havle eidish yatayachal azima. It's Eidus where you can't go ahead and fulfill kasha zamam, and therefore the Eidus is bottled. Bedikos, however, by the bedikos, Eidus hatiyachal azimahi. Bedikos, even if they say what were they wearing, It's not. You can still say Imanu Yisem, right? You still have that fear that gives the Edis to Nemanis. So now, here's the kasha. This is again, when you have these Gemaras that don't seem, in the Gemara they're going to work back to what? Somehow they're going to work back to what we're learning. If you're going to tell me a person will make mistake, fellas, 2.5 hours, 3.5 hours. Hi Chakir stays a shot, Nami Edish Zimi, right? The Amri Mita Katinen. How could you have gone ahead and said he killed on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock? You with us. 1 second. You meant 10 o'clock. I meant really 8 o'clock. If you're going to tell me built into what is a mistake, guys, right? It's Edish Yachal Azima. It's Edish Yachal Azima. What we're saying now, a guy will make a mistake late Rabbi 2 hours and a bit, a little bit. Rabbi Yehuda 3 hours and a bit. So the guy, you'll say time. Imanu Yisem. When I say Imanu Yisem, no, I didn't mean that. I meant that time, not that time. I didn't mean 10 o'clock. I'm off by 10 o'clock. Maybe I meant 8, And for the Gemara, Yavinalahu Kula Tasayu. The Eidim they Taina. How could you say 10 o'clock? You with us 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. In other words, in their claim, they're taking in those mistakes. Now, again, the Chiddush Shebeidim Zoyim guys, we believe the second guys. Why do we believe the second guys over the first guys? That's the Chiddush Shebeidim Zoyim, that you believe the second guys. The guys are Tanya Mona Yisem. You believe the second guys.
Chain doesn't end. Why? You could have another set of Eidim.
You definitely could.
These guys are with us. They couldn't have said that about them.
No, we have a Gemara that these guys kill 100 guys. The Gemara is not going one after the other. So the Gemara says it's statuses. It's something. Yeah, these guys got around.
I said the Gemara says no one gets killed, right? A person that killed once in 7 years, right?
Once in 7 years. It's a hanging business.
It's a good system. This is a much better system than what we have.
Of course, much
In the
better.
legal system, if you testify that somebody killed someone, you don't get, what's the punishment?
Perjury.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a minor felony. It's a class D felony.
Yeah,
It
nothing.
doesn't support any kind
Nothing.
of risk that to try to get somebody killed.
Nothing, and it's nothing.
It's not a real
It's my
handle.
Bible.
No, anyone could say anything. You can hire
It doesn't
people
have to be 2 agents. It could be 1 agent.
and circumstantial evidence. That's unbelievable. That they accept circumstantial evidence to kill someone, to put them away forever. Right? We don't accept circumstantial evidence in Judaism. You mamish have to see. Yeah, you have to see. So it's really amazing. It's totally amazing. Totally crazy. The crazy society. Okay, but don't worry, lives matter. So says the Gemara Vayter. That's what you're saying. Yeah, have a drink. It says the Gemara. Now, L'Reb Meir. Now, here's the tiny guys. L'Reb Meir Yavina Le Mitchila Shari Shaina. Again, 2.5 hours, right? So 3 hours. You're going to go back. 3 hours. Really should go back 2, 1. You should go back at Seif Chamesh because you're going to go the other direction too. You even go back more than 1 more hour. But and your person doesn't make a mistake between day and night, so it's not necessary. Rabbi Yehuda that says 3 hours and a bit and less a bit. You guys can go from 3 to what? Really should go 3 to 0, correct? It's 1. But since 1 o'clock at Rishon is the first hour of the day, no one's going to make a mistake between. Even though they, ostensibly they could if it was later on in the day, but in the beginning of the day they're not going to make that mistake. So Ubedinu the Yasal we call it Fei, on the base, we should give more time. Ubedinu the Yasal Kamet Fei, Elishabeh Chama b'Mizrach, Ubezayim Chama b'Mayrev. Right, okay. But you should give him more going the other direction, right? Because it's again from 5 to 8. But already 3 hours already, you know what? It's light and dark. No, the sun is in this way and the sun is that way, and therefore it's going to be not necessary. Okay, now we get to our Mishnah, guys. Right, finally. You can eat all 5 hours, 11 to 12. The serve mitchilas vav, and you burn in the beginning of 12. If you the oima, oichlin kol dalid, you can eat up till 10. The toilin kol hay, 10 to 11 you can eat. 11 to 12 you eat toilah. The serve mitchilas vav, and you burn in the beginning of vav. Now, Abaye, guys, Abaye said 2 things, right? But I made 2 l'shaynis. Either you don't make a mistake at all, or you make a mistake of a mashavu. Good. Le'abaya liba de Reb Meir damar ein adam toyev v'loy klum neicha kula sheish. You're not going to make a mistake. You have a very accurate sundial. So why do you have to go ahead and burn in the beginning? Eat it all the sixth. Because again, really, it's in the seventh hour. Okay, so not listen to the end. In other words, what are you burning at the beginning of six? Because you're not sure. But 1 second, you according to a mayor, you're sure you are exact or not exact. So go ahead, eat the whole six because you keep time exactly, or even if you're a little off, so safe to the end of six. But why are you going ahead and burning at the beginning of six? In other words, we're taking the concept that we said by murder that Rabbi says, according to Abaya, you don't make any mistake, or you make a little mistake, and we're shel zicharois in the Mishnah here in chametz. So why do you burn at the beginning of sixth hour? You should either burn at the end exactly when six is over because you know exact time, or safe, the little mashahu, according to Abaya. Again, no say you don't need to say now because you know Rabbi said right. So again, we're going Abaya in Rabbi Shita. Why 2 to 3 is exact, right? 2 to 3 is exact. So therefore, but taking this and applying it. Okay. We need that minion. Where's he going? I told one guy we could get, not 2 guys. Yeah, 1 guy usually comes. Okay. We'll see. Anyway. Okay, anyway. Now the other way around. Abaya, the first lashon Rabbi Yehuda that is Toya Chatzi Shah, Nechal ad Palga Deshes, go half hour in. Ulachlish Nami the Amin Adam Toya Shah Umashu Nechal ad Soif Hey. Why do you end at the beginning of fifth? Go to the end of the fifth, because again, you're only going to make a mistake an hour and a bit.
When you burn it, when's
Again, the burning is you burn it at the end of the 6th hour.
See a couple of minutes time.
The reason we're burning it early is because again, why are we burning it early? You don't have to.
How much time do you need to burn?
Whatever. So I'm going to buy it. I'll tell you. You can't shtel sich what? You can't shtel sich chametz to Edis. You can't shtel sich chametz to Edis. What do you want to do? You want to take the time frame by Edis and apply it to what? To chametz? That you can't do. Why? Edis mesurah is reason. Edis is given over to people who are zaris. You're going to testify, guys. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to ask you what time, what date. You're going to have to know. Chametz l'chol ma'aser. It's given to Yedi Yokel. So therefore, they're not so careful with the time. Look at Rashi, guys, on this list. This Rashi. Edis mesurah is reason. Ein adam bola heyed ala nefesh. No one's coming to testify to kill someone. Elam came bucky b'shois. Why? He knows in the end he's going to have to go through what? The question and the answers. Aval chametz ala kol motel. Chametz is every person. U'she'ein bucky b'shois tayebehen. Geschmack, guys, right? Guys, geschmack. Geschmack. You wanted to say, if just like by Edis, the person is exact, by chametz exact, let's apply it, and therefore extend the time of the eating. Be more exact. The answer is you can't. Chametz is given to everybody. Edis and the Fashis is given to the specific people who are experts in time. They had the Schaffhausen sundials, they had the good sundials. What? Is that Schaffhausen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
International Watch Company. Okay.
That's the alternate name for it.
Huh?
That's the alternate name for Schaffhausen.
Oh, I just know.
Today they call it IWC. When my grandfather had a Schaffhausen, it was called Schaffhausen.
Okay. I just know what my son got for his. Yeah, the front of the watch. He doesn't even wear watch. No, watch, a regular watch. Anyway, so says the Gemara, Vaita. So very good. Edis mesurah reason, chametz l'chol masa. The Rav Alib the Meya, the Ama Adam Toya Shtei Shois Chasam Ashahu, B'tchila Hey Loit Leinechel. Right, right. You shouldn't go ahead what, and the beginning of Hey you shouldn't eat it, right? Because you make it first in time Ashahu. So it's going to Hey Cham b'Mizrach v'Zayin Cham b'Mayriv. In the Hey The cham is the mizrach, it's a mire, so therefore you can eat because you know exactly when it is because it's going to be in the east. Yihachi b'sheish nami neichel because you know exactly when it's overhead. Ravada Rabba shish yuma b'karnas sakoy. It's right. It's very hard to tell because it's right overhead. The Rabbi leave Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi comes Rabbi Yehuda. Adam gimel choice. Chasam ashu. A person will go ahead and make a mistake 3 hours and a little bit less than that. Mechilas dalil loy neichel. Right at the beginning of dalil you shouldn't eat because what you're going to make a mistake. Says we know again. Heicham b'misrach v'shevacham b'mayrev. The kol shkein dalil. Yihachi. Those kol shkein dalil is in the east. In other words, you're going to make a mistake in Dalit, correct? And you're going to make a mistake 2 hours. Maybe it's a 6 hour. You know Dalit. Why? Because you'll see the sun in the. You won't make a mistake. In other words, you're not going to make a mistake 3 hours from Dalit because Dalit, the sun is in the Mizrach. So you know that it's not. You'll know it's not the 6 o'clock. It's not 1 o'clock. Let him eat hay. Hay is also the sun is in the east. It says, Rabbi, leave it to Rabbi. Eidus Mitzulis, Rizim, Chometz, L'chol Masa, same parents. Eidus is given Rizim, Chometz, L'chol Masa, therefore we stop early. Rabbi Amar, Lav Hainu time of Rabbi Yehuda, El Rabbi Yehuda, time Damar, Ein Ber Chometz, El Sreifa. Right, the only way to go it, you have to burn it. The Yover Rabbanan Sha'achas, the Luka Bayetzim, they gave him an hour to go ahead and be Malak Eitzim. So the reason why you only go up 4th hour, 5th hour, you gather the stuff, and then you're going to go ahead and burn it. Esrei Rabbi Rabbi Amar Rabbi Yehuda, Emasai Shlei B'Shas B'Yuroi, Al B'Shas B'Yuroi. When does Rabbi Yehuda say you have to go in and burn it? That's when it's not the time of removal. The time of removal you can use any which way. So there is that you wanted to give that, but giving the guy an hour to burn it is not necessarily because once you reach the time of beer, you can mefazer, throw it into the wind. You don't have to burn it, so you don't have to come up with the teretz that he has to gather wood together to do it. So Rapapa Dalitzman. So therefore, Yihachi Afilu Ba'Arbish Amarava Gizera Shema Yoimem Unin. The reason why you only stop at 4 and not 5 is because Gezeru Atu a cloudy day. On a cloudy day, you won't see the sun in the wad you won't see the sun in the east, and therefore you stop at number 4. If it's a cloudy day, I feel if it's a cloudy day, even the 4 hours in the day, you should be able to eat because you can notice that the sun is in the east, and a person's going to make a mistake up to 2 hours. Samara Papa, Dalid Zman Sudul Choli. By Dalid, your stomach will tell you when you got to eat, right? It's a biological fact. Your natural sundial in your stomach will tell you. Yehuda Horowitz is smiling, right? It'll tell you exactly what time of day it is, right? Tanrabanan. So now we're going to describe the eating habits of Klal Yisrael. Shari Shona, Michael Ludim. Now Ludim were cannibals, so they the first hour of the day they were chaparayim. Shnia is Michael Liston. The second hour of the day, that's when the listener, the robbers, they eat. Shlishis, Michael Yarshim, that's when Yarshim eat. They don't have to go to work. They don't have to work so much. For Avias, on the 4th hour of the day is Michael Poel and workers. Chamishis is Michael Talmidei Chachamim. Sheish is Michael Kolodam. Ivan Rapapa, Avias is Man Sud L'chol. How can you tell me it's the 6th hour of the day? You see that the 4th hour of the day. El Apech, switch it around. Avias is Michael Kolodam, and Chamishis is Michael Poelim. And Shishis is Michael Talmidei Chachamim. The kind of Elech, after that, it's Kizorik Evan Lechemas. It's like throwing a stone into a leather pouch. What does that mean? I'm Rabbi. It's throwing like into a pouch. I guess it's not so discernible, the difference. I'm not sure exactly what the pshat is. I'm Rabbi. This is only if you need anything in the morning. I will tell you me the saffron less than ba. Right? If you when's this machloikis? Okay, let's stop over here. I'll take a look. I didn't prepare this yet. Take a look. Okay, tomorrow it'll be on Zoom. I don't know what time I'm saying it. I will post the time I'm saying it in case anyone is interested.